Hello, and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the Algebra 1 concept of writing linear equations. This is standard A.2C in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 5 off the 2016 released STAAR test. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on our own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. So we have a table that represents points on a graph of a linear function. All right, we know what linear functions do, and it looks like we need to find a function. This looks like slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. All right, so how do we figure this out if we just have a whole bunch of points? Well, if I've got 2 points, and so I'm going to use these 2 points right here, I'm going to use one of our formulas on our reference materials, and this is going to be the slope. So slope is change in y over the change in x, the rise over run. So let's just use these xy coordinates that they've given me right here. So I'm going to make this my x1 and my x2. I want to label them just so they match up, because x1 has to be across from y1, x2 has to be with y2. All right, so I'm going to get negative 7.5 minus 0, that's my y2 minus y1, and then I'm going to get negative 1 minus negative 3.5, which that's going to end up turning into a positive. So I've got negative 7.5, because there's nothing there. I've got 1 plus, or negative 1 plus 3.5, so that's like 3.5 minus 1, that's 2.5. So negative 7.5 over 2.5, think of 75 and 25. Well, 3/4 is 25 cents times 3 is 75 cents. That's like 3/4. So that's actually just going to end up being negative 3. So before we go any further, take a look at all of our slopes. I've got a negative 3. There's nothing there, so that's an implied negative 1. That's a positive 3, and there's nothing there, so that's an implied positive 1. So as long as I've got the slope, there's nothing I need to do. I've got the answer as A. Now, how do I double check it? Well, there's 2 different ways. We could use the point slope form. All right, so let's go to our point slope form. Y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. All right, and we know our m now is negative 3. And let's just plug in the y and x. Let's use this because I like it when it's 0, right? So y minus 0, we use that right there, equals x minus negative 3.5. So that's just going to be y equals, now I need to distribute this out, negative 3x minus negative 3.5 is going to be 2 negatives make a positive. So now I just need negative 3 times 3.5. So that's going to end up being a negative. 3 3s is 9, and then 3.5 is 1.5, so 9 and 1.5 is 10.5. So that's finding the answer, which obviously we're still looking at a point slope form. Now, just to show you that you can do a different way, watch this. What if we get our slope-intercept form here? Y equals mx plus b. All we know at this point is just the m, my slope. It's negative 3. What if I just plug in some numbers? Let's find a new one. Let's find in, so my y is, I'm going to replace my y with negative 21. I'm going to replace my x with 3.5. Guess what the only thing left is? Plus b. I want to isolate that b. That's going to give me my y-intercept. So negative 21 equals, that's that, see that 3 and that 3.5, there's that negative 9.5 plus b. Now we need to add 9.5 to both sides. 9.5. And guess what you're going to get? B equals negative 10.5. So to find my slope-intercept form, right, I need to find my slope, which I did first, fairly easy with this equation right here. To find the y-intercept, I could use my point slope form, or I can just plug it into the slope-intercept form. Take 2 coordinates, plug them into the y and the x, and isolate that b. Look for that. Either way you look at it, our answer here is going to be A.